Hello everyone, it is review day, and remember this is just the summary review. The full detailed review is in the link below. Do consider subscribing to the channel and do consider the Patreon. It does keep this website going. We are back in Soprano territory, still in Soprano territory this week. And it's a brand I've featured before. It's a brand that is a British company. It's kind of the house brand for the Hobgoblin Music Store, but also available in one or two other places. They're called Ashbury. As I say, I've reviewed some of them before. None of them have really let me down. Whilst they haven't been earth-shattering, they haven't been terrible either. They're kind of alright, really. Not brilliant, not terrible. This is an entry level from Ashbury. It is their AU-12S Soprano. And I really rather like what it looks like. It's a standard double bout soprano shape. It's a laminate body instrument, all laminate woods. Little bit confusing on the product description. They call this the black walnut model. So this is an outer veneer, I believe, of black walnut. But they also say that the body is made of cassia wood, which is a hardwood basswood. I think they're talking about the laminate inside being made of cassia, and the outer veneer being the black walnut. Either way, I rather like it. It's like colour of chocolate. I quite like it indeed. It's finished in an open pore semi-gloss, which allows you to see the grain. It's done really well. It's put together well in every department. No issues with it. No joint problems. No pooling or finish marks. It's all right. And quite staggering to look at with this contrast with the paler woods, which we'll come on to, because first up we've got a slotted style bridge made of maple, much paler, looks nice against the dark brown. It is, however, completely unfinished. That is just a rough piece of wood. Just needs a bit of oil or wax on it or something. Fitted with a straight top plastic saddle. And it's nice to see a slotted style bridge on a soprano because it's diminutive on the top. No other decoration on the body. I can look at the sound hole edge and see that it is relatively thick, although it's still kind of resonant. The braces are not overdone, the linings are unnotched, and there's quite a bit of glue seepage in there, but there we are. I quite like this. This is alright, this is well done. Up to the neck, they don't specify the wood. It's a dark brown, there's a joint at the heel and a joint up at the headstock. I quite like the colour of it and the grain. It's rather attractive, although it doesn't match this. But, I still quite like that. It's also fairly flat in profile up here and a roomy 35mm at the nut. So it's not a narrow, tiny soprano. It's playable. I like that too. That's topped in a maple fingerboard. I like maple fingerboards. Very nice and contrasty to the dark brown. It's also edge bound with more maple, so you hide the fret edges, as you can see, and it means no sharp edges either. 12 standard soprano frets to the body, but what you'll have noticed is there's no fret markers facing out, and there's none on the side either. Now, this is priced at kind of beginner instrument level. I think that's quite a big omission for a beginner instrument, because they're the people who are really going to need to know where they are on the fingerboard. Admittedly, dead easy to fit one with a Sharpie. Yeah, that's an omission. Beyond the nut, setup incidentally very good on this. You could not say that headstock was anything other than plain. No crown shape, dead flat on the top. But you know what? I kind of like it for some reason. It's kind of utilitarian, industrial. It's a rectangle with the Ashbury logo, sadly not quite level. But I quite like that. That's faced in more of the black walnut. The tuners, at first glance, they look like Grover gears. They're not. They're branded with Ashbury's name on them. But actually, they're pretty good quality, and I've come across these before with Ashbury. They're not bad at all. Yes, I don't want to see gears on a soprano. These look like ears. But the buttons are small. The metalwork is decent quality. They work well. Yeah, they're alright. Finishing that off, set of D'Addario Nylgut strings, which are basically the ones made by Aquila for them. And it comes in at an RRP of about £70. So pitching it alongside something like the Carla KAS, the Ohana SK25, and other decent quality entry-level instruments. You know, these are the ones that I tend to recommend to people who are obsessed with buying how cheap they can go on Amazon and buying a Who the Hell Are They brand. You know, if you're going to recommend someone get something like a Carla KS, this is in the same sort of category. And like I say, the build throughout is really good. The finish throughout is really good. One or two little scruffy bits inside, a bit scruffy on the logo up there. Dislike the lack of fret markers, but otherwise it's pretty well done actually. It's light. I really like the looks of it. The looks of it are what sold it to me. It's light, it's balanced, and it's got good volume. If a little bright and brittle sounding, it's got really good volume. It's got decent sustain for a soprano, but that sound, there had to be a catch, didn't there? It's not bad, but it's overly brittle and boxy and laminate to me. It kind of gets away with it when you strum it, because it gets a bit jangly and staccato, which is what a soprano should sound like. Sadly, with fingerpicking, any sense of warmth that was in that tone, and there wasn't a lot, goes completely out the window. Intonation is slightly off as well, because this is in tune at the nut, as tuned with a strobe tuner, as I always do. It's just too brittle a sound for me. It's not a bad sound. I've heard a lot worse, and it's on a par with those Carla KSs and Ohana SK25s, and I think it's better looking. It's got this sort of weird thing going on that you look at it and you think you're expecting it to be more high-end and to sound more high-end than it is. It's a 70 quid laminate instrument. It's an entry-level soprano. I would rather a first-time player get something like this than some of the absolute junk that's out there. Something like that I reviewed. This is a more serious instrument. Maybe a string change will warm it up. I don't know. These are usually quite warm in themselves. I would have thought putting fluorocarbons on this is going to make it even brighter. It's a bit too brittle for me. But it is functional, and it is only 70 quid, so it's not an all-out recommendation, but it's certainly not an avoid it review either. Once again, Ashbury have put out something that, whilst it hasn't set the world on light for me, it hasn't made me run scared either. Just kind of, yeah, all right, but certainly worth the money, is what I'll say at 70 quid. 60 quid if you shop around, certainly worth the money, and I'd rather have one of these than some of the junk, as I say. The Ashbury AU-12S Soprano in black walnut finish, available from Ashbury, from Hobgoblin music stores, people like that. I think they're on Amazon as well. Yeah, not totally bad. Back next week. See you very soon.